Let's talk about socks, baby. Hi everyone, I'm Stuart from Finish Line Focus. I want to talk about running socks today. I mean, we spend a lot of money, right, on our running shoes. I know I do. But what about your socks? Should they be an afterthought, or are they important as well? Well, running socks are designed for specific purposes. They're designed to pull sweat away from your skin to prevent blisters and chafing and bacteria build-up as well. They're usually designed specifically for your left and right feet, which means they've got a more anatomical design. They might provide compression in some cases and temperature regulation. No one likes hot, sticky feet, right? Well, maybe some people are into that kind of thing, but anyway. They're also designed to be durable. I've got running socks that I've had for literally years and years. But most of all, they're meant to be comfortable. So does that make a difference? Does it help you to enjoy your run more, which is a massive factor, isn't it? Also, is it worth paying more for running socks? Okay, so I've got like a big drawer full of running socks. I've got absolutely masses of them. Some I paid a bit of money for, some not so much. But I really want to be thinking about, is it worth spending a lot of money on a pair of socks? You can see running socks out there costing about 30 quid. I find that hard to justify straight off, if I'm honest with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at a number of different running socks for you. I'm going to try them out. I'm going to give the verdict. I'm thinking about factors like performance, comfort, enjoyment, but then all of that versus the price that you're actually paying for those socks. Okay, so here are some of the ones that I'm going to look at for you. The first one is the Balega, or Baliga, I think it's Balega. Blister resist socks. I don't know why they didn't call them blister resistor. That's what I would have done. These cost about 13 quid, which might seem like a lot of money. They're designed as no-show performance athletic running socks, so quite a big claim with these, and they do have quite a good reputation. And I've also got here these Asics or Asics, depending on how you pronounce it. These are the Cayano ankle running socks. They say they've got reinforced panels and in big capital letters, moisture transport. They actually retail at about 14 quid, but I picked these up for half that. I paid about 7 quid for those. Over here we've got the Mile Preventer Twin Skin. Think of Twin Skin, it's normally the Hilly brand that have that name, but the first thing I noticed about these is that they're really, really light. They weigh hardly anything actually. I've got quite a few pairs of Mile socks already. These are double layer socks. They do claim to be anti-blister. These are a much more cheap option. 6 quid they retail. I paid 3 quid for those. And just kind of for comparison, I want to be thinking about just some really, really cheaper ones, just to be fair in this, so that we're looking at some that I paid a few quid for, but some that I paid almost nothing for. So I just picked these up online. These are Pro Hike Performance, and they're cheapo ones. There are actually 3 pairs in here for 4 quid, so each pair would be £1.33. So what I want to know really is, will I notice much difference between these and the ones that I've paid like a lot more for? Also, for comparison, I've dug out my existing favourite socks as well, which are old ones that I've had for a while. These are also the Balega brand. These are the Hidden Comfort. And I really do love these socks. But these are kind of my special occasion socks. They're my race day socks. So they sit in my cupboard and I get them out as like a special treat to myself. So if I'm running a marathon maybe, I'll get those socks out and I'll wear them. It just makes my day a little bit more special. So looking at what you would pay for a pair of the Hidden Comfort now, if you look online, they're about 15 quid actually. So I think they're probably the most expensive out of all of the ones that I'm trying. But it might give you an idea already that the fact that I keep those for special occasions and I really like them so much, I think I already know what the outcome of this is going to be. But anyway, let's see. So I want to be really objective about this. So to make it fair, I'm going to use my scruffy old React Milers. Both of these pairs, I've got hundreds of miles on them, between 300 and 400 miles I think. They're pretty old, but I don't want to be wearing these socks with brand new trainers on, so just to make it as fair as possible, I'll try out each pair of these socks wearing pretty much the same shoes, and we'll see how we go.
So it's early in my run, and I must say, with these Asics on, I did, dodging puddles here, hang on, I did feel a difference straight away. So you do notice them. I mean, maybe I'm consciously trying to notice them, but there is that just kind of bit of a spring maybe, or just that sense of the cushioning that they provide. It just seems to give you a bit of a bounce perhaps. Fell and slipped in a big puddle. Okay, so I'm enjoying running in the Moor Mile this morning, apart from the fact that one arm is soaking wet because we have these giant puddles due to the storms that we've had, and I've just kind of slipped in one trying to get around it. So hopefully that doesn't affect the review, or maybe it's an opportunity to see how they cope. It's like an empirical investigation. I'm comparing one soggy sock with one dry one for this run. One soggy, one dry. Okay, so I'm well into my run now with the Moor Mile, and actually this is the soggy one. Well, it's not too bad. It's maybe slightly soggier than the other one, but it's dried off pretty well, and I must admit I hadn't really noticed after a little bit that I'd got it all wet, so I'm quite pleased with that, to be honest, and they are feeling quite comfortable. One possible issue with these, when I first put them on, because they're twin skin, so they're 2 layers, around the toes it did possibly slightly bunch up a little bit here, but I sorted that out, and since then they've been okay. So I'm quite pleased with these, and especially when you consider the price. You know, they retail at £6. I just picked these up for £3, so I'm pretty pleased with that, and I'll be happy to do lots more runs in the Moor Mile. Trying out the Balega this morning, so we'll go for a bit of a jog on my tired legs, so let's see how they go. Okay, so these Balega blister resisted for your sister, whatever, blister resist, missed opportunity. They're alright. I mean, I haven't really noticed them, so that's probably a good thing. Just kind of consciously paying attention to them over the last couple of minutes. They are a little bit tighter around the toes actually, and these are more expensive than some of the others that I've been trying, so I'm thinking at the moment, am I convinced that it's worth paying more for something like this? Not at this moment. Kind of see how we go. Okay, so bizarrely I've got my right foot soaking wet again. This keeps happening. It's either happening when I'm out on runs, but it's also happening in my daily life. I keep getting my right foot soaking wet for some reason. It's a conspiracy. But what I've noticed is I feel that the Balega, what they're called, what's the silly name for them? Blister resistor. I feel that they're holding on to the water actually. I don't feel that foot has dried like it did with the Moor Mile. So I'm not feeling overly enamoured with these socks at the moment. Yeah, still very soggy unfortunately. So the Pro Hike cheapo socks seem fine. Haven't really noticed them that much, except they are clearly very thin, because my trainers actually feel noticeably sort of looser. Like, I think I might have to tighten my laces in a minute. But other than that, there's not really a lot to report. You know, they're just socks, and they're doing whatever it is that socks do. Okay, so I've actually got out my old kind of treat socks. I've never really been sure on the correct pronunciation, so I just took a minute to look at some other videos on YouTube this morning, and I heard it pronounced as Balega. It's definitely not that. Balega, I'm not sure, but I believe it's Balega, because I stumbled across a video from the guy whose company it is, and he said Balega, so there you go. Yeah, these are like my sort of special treat socks really. I save them generally for race day, so I feel like a bit of a fraud or a bit of a cheat wearing them this morning. But straight away when you put them on your feet, you just feel like you're doing something nice for yourself. And they seem to have that bounce and lots of cushioning, lots of comfort. So that's the Balega Hidden Comfort that I'm wearing this morning.
Alright, so what's the verdict on running socks? Well, I'm going to start in last place with the Balega Blister Resist. Wasn't too impressed with these. They just made my foot sopping wet. Plus they're overpriced at £17. And I've just realised actually that these contain mohair, which is another reason I wouldn't buy these. So I will not be wearing the Balega Blister Resist again. So I'm just going to move straight on. Ahead of those is the Pro Hike Performance. Now this is just a random cheap old brand that I found on the internet, and I bought these because they were really cheap running socks. It was actually 3 pairs for £4, so it's it's £1.33 for a pair of socks. They do the job. I did feel that they were quite sort of thin in terms of they made my shoes feel a bit loose, so I had to tighten my laces. But they did the job. So as long as it's not like a long run or a race or a speed session, probably these are fine for you every day. Just kind of maybe up to an hour on your feet. They do the job. They do what socks are meant to do. So I think it's perfectly reasonable just to get some really cheap old socks. Doesn't have to be these ones. Just wear pretty much any socks really for a short run if you're going up to say an hour. That's what I would suggest. Next up, the A6. I did like these socks. They're pretty good. They're nice and thick and cushioned. They're comfortable. I did notice the difference that they made. I could really feel them on my feet. They gave me that extra bit of a spring. So I do like them, but again, I just think things are overpriced. £14.99 is what they retail at, and if I didn't pick them up for £7, which is less than half, I wouldn't be holding these in my hands right now. I don't think it's justified in terms of the price. I'm glad I've got them. I'll enjoy wearing them, but I don't think you need to be paying that for a pair of socks, and I don't think the price reflects what you get, even though it's a decent sock. So in first place, I've actually got two. There are two that I kind of really like. So kind of joint first. The first one is the More Mile, and these are the More Mile Preventer Twin Skin. I've got loads of More Mile socks actually, probably because they're cheap and I'm a bit stingy. I've got a drawer full of them. You can often pick up like multi-packs, but these are not just the standard ones. These are twin skin ones, the Preventer Twin Skins, so you can really feel the twin layer, but they're very light as well. I felt that they dried out when I got one of them wet. They just felt comfortable. They're not too expensive. They're kind of somewhere in the middle. So if you buy these, they retail at £5.99, but again I paid half. I paid £3 for those. So I'd suggest that if you can get a pair of these or a few pairs for £3 each, then it's probably a good investment really. But also in joint first, I couldn't leave out my beautiful, wonderful Balega Hidden Comfort. These are, like I've said, my kind of special occasion socks really. I've had these for actually years, but I just wear them if I'm doing an event like a marathon or a half marathon or a 10k. I just save them for those, and it just kind of gives me a bit of a psychological bit of a boost, I think, because they just feel really comfortable and bouncy and thick on your feet. So it's just nice to have those. They're not cheap, they're £15 in terms of what their retail recommended retail price. You can probably pick them up a bit cheaper if you're patient and you look around. But it might be if you're thinking about doing your first event. Is it your birthday coming up? Can you ask someone to get you a pair of these, maybe Christmas or something? I like to have them, but we all have our opinions on these. What I like to do is just save these for race days, maybe the occasional really big run. But also I'll be doing that with the More Mile. I'll be using these for big runs as well. Maybe not so much speed sessions because they're so kind of thick, but I'd consider it. But really, I think if you're perhaps new to running and you're looking for what to buy in terms of socks, my recommendation would be to get 1 or 2 pairs of the Balega Hidden Comfort special occasion socks, maybe a few pair of the More Mile Preventer Twin Skin, which are worth having for your longer runs. Definitely might be worth getting 2 or 3 pairs of those. But you know what, beyond that, you just need some cheapo socks. I've got loads of socks like this. These are the Pro Hike. It doesn't have to be this brand. But you know, you look online and you can get multi-packs of cheap socks, and I think if you're running up to an hour, if it's just your day-to-day kind of training, going for a jog really, I don't think you need to be investing too much in that in terms of your socks. So that's where we are. I hope that's useful, guys. I'm really interested to hear what you think about this. People have different opinions on everything to do with running. What are your favourite socks? Have you tried any of these? Are there any of these that you don't like? Any of these that you am I wrong? You know, do you disagree with what I'm saying? Is there a sock that I haven't mentioned that you think is worth a mention? Please comment below, because I'm really interested to have that discussion with you. Thanks for watching, guys. If you subscribe, you'll see loads more videos like this. So all the best and enjoy your running.